We've all heard a ton about healing our inner child, that sweet, vulnerable part of us. But what about that other part? The one that slammed doors, rolled its eyes, and felt like nobody in the world understood? Well, today, we're diving deep into one of the most powerful and, honestly, most ignored parts of who we are, the inner teenager. This is where the fire, the shame, and those first real heartbreaks are still living.
I mean, really think about it for a second. That sudden surge of rage when your boss gives you some simple feedback, or that wave of insecurity that hits you right before a first date. Or maybe it's that voice in your head that just screams, "You can't tell me what to do." Yeah, that's probably not your adult self calling the shots. More often than not, it's your inner teenager still trying to run the show from behind the scenes.
So if you're looking at this list and nodding your head, just know you are in very, very good company. These are all classic signs that some of those unresolved wounds from your teenage years are still showing up today, affecting your relationships, your job, and even how you feel about yourself when you're all alone.
Okay, let's really get into this because it is so important to understand that your inner teenager is a totally different character from your inner child. They're related for sure, but their needs, their fears, and their wounds, completely different worlds.
And just look at this contrast right here. The inner child is all about safety and fears being abandoned. Their voice is a quiet whisper saying, "Please love me." But the inner teenager, oh, they fear being controlled, being boxed in. Their voice is a shout. "Don't control me, let me be me." One needs a hug, the other needs the keys to the car. And here's the kicker. This gets to the heart of it. While the inner child feels the need for love and safety, the inner teenager is the one who acts on those feelings. They're the driver. For better or for worse, this is the part of you that grabs the wheel, fueled by those big, messy, powerful teenage emotions. And this is exactly how that acting out can look in our adult lives, right? That impulse to max out a credit card, that's the inner teen looking for a quick fix. Putting off a huge project until the last minute, that could just be rebelling against authority, even when the authority is your own to-do list. These aren't just bad habits, they're echoes of old survival patterns. So the big question is, where did all this start? To really get your inner teen, we have to go back in time, because those adolescent years, they're like a perfect storm of brain development, social pressure, and hormones. And the wounds that form in that storm, they can stick around for a long, long time. Honestly, it all comes down to brain science. Just picture your teenage brain as this high-performance race car with a massive engine, but the brakes haven't been fully installed yet. The gas pedal, your emotional center, was floored, but the braking system, your rational frontal cortex, was still under construction. That's why everything felt like life or death, and why those memories are burned into our minds. And right in the middle of that vulnerable time, things like this happened. Maybe it was being brutally left out by your friends, or dealing with your parents' divorce, or having to be the adult in your family way too soon. Whatever it was, those experiences basically programmed your inner teen's operating system to be on high alert for danger and defense. Now, this next part is a major turning point, because this is where we get to rewrite the whole story we've been telling ourselves. Most of us look back at who we were as a teenager and we just cringe. We think, oh, I was so dramatic, or I was such a rebel. But what if that's not the real story? Seriously, just sit with that question for a second. What if all those things you've been judging yourself for, what if they were actually your teenage self's best, most brilliant attempt to keep you safe in a world that felt completely overwhelming? I mean, look at this. It breaks it down perfectly. That defiance, it wasn't just attitude, it was a way to survive when you felt totally suffocated. That acting out, it was probably the only way you knew how to communicate when you felt invisible. Hiding in your room wasn't antisocial. It was you creating the only safe space you had. Even being a people pleaser was a smart strategy to get the validation you desperately needed to feel like you weren't alone. Let that one sink in. Your inner teenager wasn't bad. They were resourceful. They were a survivor. They used every tool they had to get you through it. And the goal isn't to shut them up or get rid of them. It's to finally understand their wisdom. So, how do we actually do that? How do we start turning those old wounds into wisdom? Well, it all starts with building a brand new relationship with that part of you, one that's based on curiosity and compassion, not criticism and judgment. And here are 4 really practical, powerful things you can start with.
Writing a letter to your younger self can be unbelievably healing. Creating a little dialogue when you're triggered, just asking, hey, what's got you so scared right now, can change everything. Going back to a hobby you dropped because someone made fun of you, that's pure gold. And actively challenging those old beliefs like, I'm unlovable, with hard evidence from your adult life, that literally helps rewire your brain. Now, while these self-help practices are amazing, let's also be real. Sometimes the wounds are just really deep. And if you keep getting stuck in the same patterns, or the emotions that come up feel like too much to handle on your own, working with a therapist can give you the support and safety you need to really heal. At the end of the day, just remember this. This work isn't about fixing some broken part of you. It's about making friends with your inner teenager. They're not your enemy. They're your ally, holding the keys to your passion, your intuition, and your fire. And when you do heal that relationship, that powerful, rebellious energy, it doesn't just vanish. It transforms. It becomes the courage you need to speak out against things that are wrong. It becomes your source of authenticity. It becomes that gut feeling you know you can trust. And it becomes your ability to set a firm boundary and actually stick to it. That fire becomes your greatest fuel. Really, this whole journey is about freeing yourself to be more fully you in the here and now. So if you feel like you're ready to take a deeper dive and turn that teenage fire into your greatest adult strength, just know that you don't have to do it alone. The team at Tranquil Balance specializes in exactly this kind of work, and you can schedule a session with Christina at healingmyfeelings.com to start exploring how to bring this powerful part of you home.